Did you know there is a whole bunch of things you can see and do outside of the Disney World property? I kid you not. Get ready to learn all about it beyond Geekin on Walt Disney World.
Are you ready for a fun-filled hour of food favorites, resort hopping, and hanging out with Disney World geeks? It's now time to go geekin' on Walt Disney World. Here's our dad and co-host. Hollywood was impressed with his performance in crowd scenes at the Indiana Jones stunt show. He never misses an 11 a.m. margarita at the Mexican Pavilion. And Mike Wazowski is still raving about his performance as that guy over at Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Curtis Stone.
Welcome home, Disney World geeks. It's time for episode 163 of the Geekin' on Walt Disney World podcast. I am your co-host, Curtis Stone, and we are the family-friendly father-daughter podcast that will feed your passion for Walt Disney World by sharing our experiences and opinions, as well as others from our community of passionate Walt Disney World geeks. And today's episode is sponsored by our good friends with Fairy Tale Concierge Travel Agency. Fairy Tale Concierge is an authorized Disney vacation planner agency. Hey, I want to thank Connie Caldero for booking her next trip with Jennifer down to Disney's Boardwalk Resort. I got a pretty good feeling that a big part of her decision was to support our show and our Geekin' family. You know them as part of our family, and that's Susan Jones, Jennifer Galambos, and EJ Cruz. They're professional travel agents, and they really are passionate about Disney World. Do you guys talk with friends all the time about your upcoming trip, like just about every single day? I know Mama and Judy do this all the time. Do you geeks do that? Well, Susan, Jennifer, and EJ, they talk, eat, and drink Disney World all day long, and they'll do that with you. It's a lot of fun getting ready for your trip, and they're going to give you lots of ideas for your trip and help you plan it the best that it can possibly be. When you work with them, you're going to be chatting with them at the very beginning of the trip, maybe even during the trip, and who knows, you might even end up doing a trip report with us. So contact them now for a free, no obligation quote. And best of all, hey, their services are free to use. So let's keep our trip bookings in the family and get all the details on our website, geekinonwdw.com, and you can get all their contact information. Well, this week, for the first time on the podcast, we're going beyond Disney World. Yeah, we're talking about all those other parks and attractions like Universal, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Legoland, and even more. And Jen Galambos comes on and helps me co-host as we chat with Seth Kubersky. And he's a co-author of the Unofficial Guide of a book called Beyond Disney. I'll close out the show with a Geek Speak voicemail from Jamie McGee, who was in Disney World this past week with her husband, Bert. So let's go check out all there is to do beyond Disney World with Jen and Seth. Well, Lindsay is out earning her ears down at Disney World. I thought I'd bring in a co-host, and you guys all know her. Wishes Fantasmic and Cinderella's Castle starts her crying. She looks fabulous with pixie dust in her hair from the barbershop. She is the mom to that cute baby at the Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. She shares in her clients' excitement more than she probably should. Please give a warm Geekin' welcome to my co-host tonight, Jen Galambos from Fairy Tale Concierge Travel Agency. Hey, Jen.
Hello, geeks. How's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, Jen, I'm doing great. I know you were excited to do this show because I mentioned it. Well, I think we were doing a roundtable maybe at least more than a month ago, and I mentioned that I could possibly have another unofficial guide author on the show to talk beyond Disney. And also we got another author coming on for the cruises. And you were like, what was your reaction?
Yes, please.
You were like jumped all over that to help me out, especially with my normal co-host out of town right now.
she's a little busy.
Yeah, she's getting settled in at Disney World doing her college program. So, Jen, thank you so much for coming in, and you've got some experience with some of those other things down outside of the Disney World bubble. So I'm glad to have you with me.
Too.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's bring on our special guest. He's worked for more than 20 years as a theatrical artist, culture critic, and travel journalist. He is the author of The Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Disneyland, and The Unofficial Guide to SeaWorld, Universal Orlando, and The Best of Central Florida. Hey, Jen, he's got a lot of things I got to tell you about, so settle in. He's nationally recognized as an authority on theme parks and amusement attraction. He's worked for more than 20 years as a theatrical artist, cultural critic, and travel journalist. He also contributes to touringplans.com, The Unofficial Guide to Las Vegas, The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World, and Orlando Attractions Magazine. He was named the best arts writer in the Daily City's 2013 Readers Poll. He writes an arts and entertainment column, Live Active Cultures, that appears in every issue of the Orlando Weekly, which is Central Florida's leading alternative newspaper. So please give a warm Geekin family welcome to Seth Kubersky. Hey, Seth.
Wow, that was a phenomenal introduction. I didn't even know some of those things about myself.
Well,
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, it's on the unofficialguides.com. So I looked that up. You had another different one in the book, but I went with that. And I noticed, hey, Seth, you're from our area. I'm from Connecticut. And
all right.
Jen is in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. And you originally, I see, were you living in the New Jersey area?
Yeah, I grew up in North Jersey, right outside of New York City, and I still have family. I have family in Philly. I have family in Harrisburg. I have family all over New York and New Jersey. So, yay, Northeast.
I love your background here. This is something my daughter Lindsay probably would be interested in. You did some work as a stage technician also. Yeah,
my first job in Orlando, I started out as a stage tech at Universal. Started out on the Ghostbusters show shortly before it closed. And worked on the Terminator show, Barney show, which the less we talk about that, the better. And I did all sorts of special events like Mardi Gras and Halloween there, too.
Wow. You're living the life, sounds like, Seth. I love this. And we have not spent a lot of time talking about the other things. This is the book that we picked up that Lillian sent me from The Unofficial Guide is the Beyond Disney book. And I've been that book, Seth, is just loaded with all kinds of fun things to do in the Orlando area. It's packed, and I'd like
it's a lot of people, they think of Orlando, they instantly think of Disney, but I'm here to testify that you cannot live on the mouse alone. There's a lot of other stuff outside of Disney property to see and do in Orlando. I'd even be as heretical as to say you can actually come down here for a week's vacation and not go to Disney at all and have a perfectly good time.
There you go.
You'll probably spend a little less money too.
All right. What do you do on a regular basis to keep up with all this stuff, Seth?
I go to the parks a lot.
Yeah.
I have annual passes to all the major local attractions, and I'm at one theme park or another almost every other day.
Excellent. So I think Jen and I are going to alternate some questions, but I'm going to focus in on a few areas. And like I said, there's several things here that you can visit down there, including, I forgot about Busch Gardens, and I've heard of, obviously, of Legoland and Gatorland. You can have Holy Land in there, the Kennedy Space Center, SeaWorld, of course. Yeah, literally
something for everyone.
And then even at the end, you've got like water parks, golf, outdoor, you got museums. It's just like...
Yeah, I mean, there's there's even a section on cultural attractions. I know most people don't think about going to Orlando for theater or art,
right?
But there's a really great cultural scene here in Orlando that most people who come down to visit Disney never know about.
Well, it's getting me excited to do kind of what you did, which is move from the north down to the south someday.
You will never miss the snow.
I know. It was horrible, Seth, up here. We had some nice, about 2 inches of ice. Real fun to.
Yeah, we had about 3 days of winter this year. It got down into the mid-30s.
I think I was there, actually. I was there in January. So I got a little taste of it. I came down before that little kind of snowstorm that hit the southern, like Georgia and South Carolina. I drove through that. So, yeah, know all about that. Okay. So And one of the things we like to do is have our audience ask some questions. So I collected some from them. We'll try to get them in there too. But one of the topics that I think is really popular with audiences when they go on vacation is the accommodations. And I noticed you had a section there. I don't know. Can you tell me a little bit about the resorts or other accommodations outside of Disney World? We're pretty familiar with the Disney World stuff, but talk to me about vacation homes, the Universal resorts we'll talk about too. And I want to hear some of your favorites.
Sure. So yeah, obviously you're real familiar with the very nice and very expensive hotels that are on property at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
And you're probably also aware of some hotels that are on Disney property, but not exactly Disney hotels along the Hotel Plaza Boulevard. For example, there's the B Hotel, which was renovated not too long ago. It's kind of nice and trendy and upscale and within walking distance of the Disney Springs.
Right.
Or you've also got the Swan and Dolphin, which are not much further from the park than from Epcot than the Yacht and Beach, but cost a lot less money, especially if you, I believe that's Sheridan. If you're a member of one of their clubs, you can get some really great discounts there.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to go a little further away from Disney, a couple great options. One is, like you're talking about, vacation rental. All-Star Vacation Homes is one we at Unofficial Guide really recommend. They're kind of a clearinghouse of people who own really beautiful vacation homes and are willing to rent them out for a night or a week. If you have a large family, especially, if you've got more than 4 people, these can be a huge money saver.
Right.
Because not only are you all getting your own bedrooms and bathrooms, but you've got a kitchen. And if you're willing to cook breakfast or cook the occasional dinner, that can save you a huge amount of money on your vacation. And when you go through something like All-Star Vacation Homes, you're guaranteed that you're going to get a quality product as opposed to, just searching randomly on Craigslist or, Airbnb. I'm a fan of using Airbnb in Europe, and some people do it in Orlando. But if you're, planning a big family vacation and investing a lot of money in that trip, you probably want to go with a reputable reseller.
Okay, can I get January and February, and I got 3 dogs and 2 cats? Is that going to work out?
They will let you search for just about any, and there are some that will accommodate dogs and cats.
Wow.
However, if you've got animals, you might want to think about staying at Universal because the on-site hotels at Lowe's, unlike Disney's hotels, they're pet friendly.
Wow.
You're gonna pay a cleaning fee for your stay, which is kind of reasonable. But except for Cabana Bay, all of the other hotels at Universal let you keep your pet in your room, and they even have cat and dog food on the room service menu.
Hey, before Jen, I'll let you ask a question here. I was going to ask about that downtown Disney area because that was the first places that I stayed in. I went down for a conference and stayed. It was the Royal Caribbean it was called before the B, Seth? Royal something. Royal Plaza. I think it was called.
Royal Plaza. I think that was what it was.
And I've stayed at the DoubleTree Suites there. And it's been a long time though, at least 10, 12 years. What's your take on those resorts today? They still a good bargain?
Those particular ones, I'm not personally that familiar with.
Okay.
We do have ratings though in the guide for all of those, Lake Buena Vista area hotels. You're generally getting, if you're talking about say the Hilton or even the Four Seasons. Four Seasons is a great bargain compared to something like the Grand Floridian or the Contemporary. You're getting a lot more hotel room, a much higher standard of service for your money.
Wow.
Basically, what you're giving up for staying at one of those third-party on-site hotels, what you're giving up in some of the perks, you're getting back in a lower room rate.
Okay, very good. All right, Jen, I'll let you go now.
Sorry, I had to take my phone
off mute.
Wasn't even paying attention.
I was, but when you have 2 girls, then they forget who their father is and that he's home. And they come to you. So my question is kind of simple. What's your favorite Universal on site?
Oh, that's not a simple question. They're all really
it's simple. I know it's not, but it is.
they're all really great hotels, and a lot of it depends on what your budget is and what you want out of your stay. If I had to pick one, I'd probably go first for the Royal Pacific. It's the cheapest one that has unlimited express passes included. It's got really beautiful landscaping. It's not quite up to the Polynesian, but it's pretty close in spots. And it's a nice short walk from City Walk and the theme parks. And if I had to have a second choice, it would probably be Cabana Bay because it's so reasonably priced.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of mid-century modern. That's what my house is like at home, and it gets the details down to a T. It's got a lot of really great amenities like the bowling alley and the lazy river. It's a slightly longer walk. You can easily do it in 15 minutes. It's still quicker than trying to get to the Magic Kingdom from any on-site Walt Disney World hotel, and the price is just too good to pass up.
Agreed. Okay, you passed the test.
Yeah, that's where you stayed last time.
I've enjoyed my stays at all the resorts. The Portofino is really beautiful. It might be a little stuffy for a lot of people's tastes, a little upscale, and it's definitely expensive. And the Hard Rock is fantastic for the location, but it can be a little boisterous and get a little loud.
That one's over by Universal, right? It's almost like right at the gate of Universal.
It's like 100 steps from the gate of Universal if you go out the back gate by the pool.
And we're going to get into Universal quite a bit. I'd like to. And with these resorts, though, how do they work this? They give you what Disney's Fast Pass.
So, Disney's Fast Pass system requires reservations. You got to go online and book a time. Yeah. The way that Universal's Express system works is that when you check in for your hotel, they scan your face at a kiosk and give you an ID card. And then any ride that accepts the express passes, which is pretty much every ride in the resort except for a couple of the Harry Potter rides, you just walk up and anytime you want, you just jump into the express lane. Nice. You don't have to have a reserved time ahead of time. And with the hotels, it's included at the 3 top hotels, and that's unlimited. So you can use it as many times on as many rides as you want all day.
Wow.
The great thing about it is that you check in one day, you get the express passes on the day you check in and the day you check out.
Okay.
So a one-night hotel gets you 2 days of free express passes. Depending on how many people in your room and what time of year it is, the express passes can actually be worth more than what you're paying for the room itself.
Wow. And do they charge extra if you're just going for a ticket to do the express pass?
If you are not staying in one of those hotels, you can purchase either a one-use express pass or an unlimited-use express pass.
Okay.
And you can purchase that on top of your admission by the day.
Right. Otherwise, do they have like machines that you get a express pass for?
No. So Universal is just now starting to experiment with what they call a virtual queue. They're testing it out right now at the Despicable Me ride, and it's eventually going to be a permanent fixture at the Jimmy Fallon attraction, which is opening in early April.
Okay.
And in that system, they have both kiosks that dispense paper tickets, which are like the old paper fast passes.
Yep.
And also you can do it virtually through their app on your smartphone.
Okay.
And that works a lot like the old fast pass systems. Right. You can only get it on the day of.
Yep.
And you'll be given a choice of a few different time slots that are available,
right.
Assuming that time slots are still available. And then you either flash your phone or the ticket at the entrance, and you get to cut the line at that time.
All right. We're going to go quick, Seth. I want to get into our next favorite topic, which is food. And yes, are you a foodie?
I don't have enough money to be a real gourmet. But
we use that term loosely. That's okay. That's okay. Same here. And what I'm thinking of 2 different categories here of either in a theme park or kind of outside of the Disney bubble favorite food place. Like if I was going to venture out, if I had a car and I was going to go kind of, I guess it's International Drive or somewhere just beyond Disney. Give me your top 3 places to eat. Let's go. I'm just thinking of beyond Disney.
Well, all right. If you're leaving Disney property, let's say you're heading east on I-4 from Disney, first thing you're going to come to is Sand Lake Road, and we call this Restaurant Row. You get off I-4 at Sand Lake near I-Drive, and you make a left. To be honest, there's not a lot of interest on International Drive itself.
Okay.
There's a lot of fast food and cheap buffets and chain restaurants.
Okay.
But if you make a left down Sand Lake Road, what you'll find is a strip where all of the big restaurant companies put up their prototypes and their test restaurants. Darden Restaurants is housed here in Orlando.
Okay.
They own like Olive Garden. The original Season 52 is down there on Sand Lake Road. Anytime that Darden has a new concept, that's where they'll build the first one.
Oh, okay.
And so there's just an incredible, within, less than a mile, you're just going to find an incredible density of every kind of cuisine that you want.
Lots of choice.
And because it's so competitive, pretty much anything that you find in that block is going to be pretty good.
Okay. That's awesome.
If you want to head a little further up into Universal Orlando, even if you don't have a ticket for the theme parks, there are great restaurants at the Universal hotels and also at City Walk. I highly recommend both Emeril's restaurants. There's a traditional Emeril's serving New Orleans food in City Walk, and he's got Chop Chop, which is an Asian-style restaurant at the Royal Pacific Hotel.
Okay.
Both of them are great, and both of them do daily happy hours, which are really reasonably priced.
Nice.
Another couple ones that opened recently within the last year or so. Cowfish, which serves something called burgushi, a mix of burgers and sushi.
Okay.
It's actually better than that sounds. And Toothsome Chocolate Factory Emporium. They have a very long, complicated name, but it's basically a huge Willy Wonka-style steampunk factory of food and alcohol and milkshakes and everything you can imagine made with chocolate.
Where's that one, Seth?
And make sure
that's also located at City Walk.
Don't go on a Saturday night.
Yeah,
it's incredibly popular. They do not take reservations yet. Try to go for lunch, go in between the lunch and dinner rush, or go on a weekday. Or be prepared to wait. You can slide in and just go to the bar. Ask them if you can just go upstairs straight to the bar.
Nice.
Finally, a third option, keep driving down I-4, get into downtown Orlando. You can take the 408 across to Mills or Bumby. Downtown Orlando has some really amazing restaurants. One of the best areas is the Milk District. You can look that up online, and they have a lot of really great little local restaurants, and they do food truck. Every Tuesday, they call it Tasty Tuesdays, and they have Orlando has a huge, vibrant food truck scene. There are hundreds of independent food trucks that set up shop all over town. Tuesdays in the Milk District is one of the best places to find them.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. Jen, did you have one?
No, I think he pretty much covered all the food questions.
I have another one.
No, I can talk food all day.
I got another one. So I'm wondering if you're in Universal, what's a good quick service kind of place in Universal or Islands of Adventure?
Sure. Well, the main restaurants at both Harry Potter sections, the Three Broomsticks in Hogsmeade and Leaky Cauldron in Diagon Alley, are both considered quick service.
Yep.
And they have really, really good food. Over in Islands of Adventure, my second choice is Thunder Falls Terrace in the Jurassic Park area. They have ribs and rotisserie chicken, which are good, but the great thing they have is corn on the cob that's grilled in the husk. Ooh. And rice and beans.
That's unique.
And then over at Universal Studios Florida, if you're not going to eat at Harry Potter, I would eat at Fast Food Boulevard, which is in the Simpsons area. They've got Krusty Burgers, which are just kind of ridiculously huge and artery clogging. They have fish and chips. They have a vegetarian section themed to Lisa. My favorite things over there are the chicken and waffle sandwich and the fried calamari.
That's funny. We've joked about the chicken waffle sandwich at Disney World. We're at the where is that?
I love that one that they have
Sleepy
at
Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow, yeah.
And I will say the one in Sleepy Hollow, the waffle is better, but they have better chicken at Universal, and they serve it with this. It sounds crazy, but maple mayonnaise. Maple syrup mayonnaise.
Okay.
It's freaking amazing. And best of all, it's served with tater tots.
I like the
Who doesn't love
uniqueness.
tater tots?
I love the uniqueness of it. I'm sorry, Jen, do you have something? You were going to go ahead.
Oh, it was the taco cart in Simpsons.
Oh, yeah. It's
so
adorable.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially after you get a little sick on a couple of the rides and you go there, it masks your nausea.
That's a great choice. I recommend the Korean beef taco there.
Yeah, I forget what I got, but whatever it was very, very good.
And of course, you really can't visit without having a Duff beer. Universal gets all these specialty beers brewed by the Florida Beer Company. And so they have special Harry Potter beers, and they have different varieties of Duff beer. They even do a Dufftoberfest seasonal beer that you can only get one time a year. That's,
another great question, though, in Universal. Disney's certainly popping up more places to get a adult drink. Is that always been? Has that been the same in Universal?
Universal has always catered to drinkers, especially during Halloween Horror Nights and Mardi Gras.
Okay.
I am sad to say that Universal used to have a lot of happy hours in the parks, and they've gotten rid of pretty much all of them. But they do still have some great bars in the parks. Confisco's at the front of Islands of Adventure has a little hideaway bar that's got some good sangria. Universal Studios Florida has Finnegan's, which is kind of an old-fashioned New York-style Irish bar. I love Alcatraz. It's a little outdoor bar that has house-made potato chips, beers on tap, nice. And a great view of the Jaws shark still hanging there.
So there's some good places to kind of relax in a lounge in the parks?
Oh, yeah. One of the things I like about Universal is that each park has some quiet spots where you can just kind of sit and get away from people. Every island in Islands of Adventure has a hidden park along the water side that's on the backside of all of the attractions and kind of isolated from the noise. And then over at Universal Studios Florida, you've got spots like Central Park in between Kid Zone and Hollywood. And most people never even realize that there's a little path to go down there and sit on the rocks.
Very good. All right. I just want to kind of brush into a couple of these other things too. Busch Gardens, I know nothing about that. How far is that from kind of Disney?
If you were on Disney property, it would take you about an hour and a quarter to get to Busch Gardens. And I'd say if you are a roller coaster freak, or you were really into animals and Animal Kingdom just wasn't enough for you, then Busch Gardens is worth a day trip. They definitely have the most serious collection of looping roller coasters in Central Florida. SeaWorld's also got a couple of really good coasters, and Universal's got a couple of great coasters. But if you're a hardcore roller coaster person, you're going to want to check out Busch Gardens Tampa.
I love animals, so what's the animal attractions there?
They don't have anything as elaborate as the Kilimanjaro safaris, but they do have a lot of open grazing lands and animal environments, and they have a really great kind of veterinary hospital, a little bit like the Rafiki's Planet Watch at Animal Kingdom, except without the long, boring train ride to get there.
Okay.
So if you want opportunities, they've got kind of trainer for the day sort of things, where if you're willing to pay an extra fee, you can get really up close with some of these animals.
All right. And so I'm just going to, Jen, if you want to ask I want to kind of just go down this litany of lists here. About Legoland. What's the highlight of Legoland? Is it?
I just got back from visiting Legoland the other week for the grand opening of Ninjago World, which is their newest land. It's a new interactive dark ride attraction from Triotech, and it uses some really neat technology. Instead of shooting with a gun like in most interactive dark rides, you wave your hands over a sensor, kind of like a Xbox Kinect, and it detects your moves and then turns them into 3D fireballs that you see shooting out onto the screen. It's really a lot of fun for kids. The thing with Legoland is that it's really ideal for kids between about 2 years old, maybe up to about 8 years old.
Okay.
If you've got tweens and teens, they're going to be kind of bored.
Okay.
It's really a park for grandma and grandkids, and I mean that in a good way.
Right.
it was built on the old cypress gardens, and they did a fantastic job of preserving a lot of the old gardens. So if you're into horticulture, it's fantastic to look around. They've got incredible Lego models, professionally built models of cities from around the world. And, it's easy for adults to spend an hour or so just looking at all the detail in these models. But when it comes to the rides themselves, they're definitely built for little kids. Even the roller coasters have very tight seats. If you are a person of size, this is not a friendly park for you. So if you're going there for the kids, then it's a great place to take them.
We've had listeners that have done exactly that. So that's good to
we're hopefully going to do it in April for the first time.
Oh, are you? Yeah, your ages of your kids, Jen?
4 and 8.
Yeah, so perfect.
Yeah, so they're right in the sweet spot. The 8-year-old, it's a good time to go because within a year or two they'll age out of it.
Well, she's a chicken. So
okay. Well, this might be good.
I think she'll be good with everything. I'm hoping.
So
there's really nothing scarier than Goofy's Barnstormer. That's about the level of the roller coaster.
She can do that. So we're good there. Awesome.
I imagine if you're a huge fan of building Legos, this is the place for you.
Oh yeah, it's heaven. And there's one thing that's great about it is that a lot of the attractions are interactive and they have some sort of component where the kids can build or participate. Even the queue lines, a lot of time they're designed so the adults wait in the line where the kids get a center section where they can play with Legos while the parents are standing. Yeah, it's really well designed for that. Bring some money because they have shops full of every Lego set you can imagine, and you're not leaving there without spending some cash.
No, I can. Although my husband may not be able to. That's true.
Yeah.
It's about him too.
They're expensive. I know. They're not cheap. So, but you get your choice probably, I'm sure there. All right, Seth, I got to know about this one. Cracks me up. Gatorland. I've heard about it.
Gatorland's a lot of fun.
Tell me.
Gatorland is like a glimpse into what Orlando or Florida tourism was before Disney came along.
Oh, okay.
And don't get me wrong, it's not run down. It's very well maintained.
Oh, good.
But it's it's definitely, you got to have a little bit of a redneck sense of humor. You can't be squeamish about watching gators tear apart chicken carcasses for your amusement.
Yeah.
If you're squeamish about the idea of people wrestling gators, then it's probably not the park for you. What I recommend if you're on the fence, there's a great place called Fun Spot, which is on International Drive, not far from Universal Orlando.
Yeah.
And they've got a thing there called Gator Spot, which is a little miniature Gatorland. They did it in cooperation with Gatorland. You can go in, spend a couple bucks, feed some food to some gators, and see if it's something that interests you. And if it is, I definitely recommend. Gatorland is not a full day attraction. It's definitely something that you spend 3 or 4 hours at.
Okay.
But if the only alligators that your kids are going to see in Florida are the robot ones on the Jungle Cruise,
yeah,
then you kind of owe it to them at some point to see this is what the real thing looks like
in the wild. Nice. All right, Jen, you want to take something?
Yeah, I'll take one of the questions from Facebook, and specifically about SeaWorld. We have Brian, who is going there in June, and he has just a couple questions here.
Yeah.
One is, how early, at Disney, we always talk about rope dropping, and I know his family is definitely a rope dropping family. So is that something that you need to do at SeaWorld, or is it going, if you were just to go for one day, is it something you kind of leisurely go into and hit a couple things?
All right. So the thing with SeaWorld is that it does not attract the attendance that Disney or Universal does, especially within the last couple of years. Attendance has significantly dropped off the park. So, even on days when the other resorts are going to be crowded, SeaWorld will not be nearly as busy. However, SeaWorld also has much lower capacity for a lot of their top rides. Their roller coasters often don't run to full capacity. Something like the Antarctica attraction, which was had hours and hours long lines when it first opened because of slow loading and poor capacity. So what I'd say is that if you've got one day at SeaWorld and you can be there at rope drop, you will definitely bypass some of those bottlenecks. The last couple times I've been to SeaWorld, I have not gotten there for rope drop, though, and I've gotten to see pretty much everything that I wanted to. The tricky thing with SeaWorld is that so much of SeaWorld is shows, and the shows run on set schedules, and at a lot of times a year, there will sometimes only be 2 or maybe 3 performances of a certain show, and they often overlap with other ones you want to see.
Right.
So if you show up late to SeaWorld, the problem is not getting on the rides. The problem is that you might not be able to get in all the shows that you want to see.
Yep, I see that. I've been there a couple times, but it was for, what I learned about SeaWorld and actually even Islands of Adventure by going to conferences, and then they rent the parks for the night. And you get about,
that's the way to go.
You get about 3, it goes by fast too. You get like 3 or 4 hours. They try to do at SeaWorld, they at least try to do the Shamu show and stuff like that. But I found that same thing you were talking about. There were shows I wanted to see that they were doing, but the timing can be challenging.
Yeah, a day at SeaWorld can be a bit of a jigsaw puzzle if you want to get in all the shows. The one show I will say, I know people go for the Shamu show. That's fine. If I'm there for Pets Ahoy. They have this show with trained domesticated animals, dogs, cats, skunks, you name it, and they're all rescues from shelters. And I can watch that show over and over and over.
I'm with Seth. I am so with you. And again, I'm saying I did this a long time ago, so I'm glad to hear they're still doing that show. And why they won't put that in Animal Kingdom drives me nuts. I'd love to have a show like that in Animal Kingdom for Disney.
Because don't they even have a show like that at Universal?
Yeah.
Orlando?
They have the animal. Yeah, they have the Animal Actors show at Universal, which is also a lot of fun. But I think the Pets Ahoy at SeaWorld's just a little bit better.
Do they have? Do they have the pets? Do they have the dogs chasing cats and the cats chasing dogs? I thought that was fascinating.
This whole sequence with a cat comes out of a door and chases after a mouse, and then a dog chases after the cat, and then it's it's great.
How they train that, I found it fascinating. And then, like you said, they add in that they're rescues that they have trained. They're probably even older animals sometimes.
That's what gets me every time.
It's awesome. I'm with you, buddy. All right.
Did you have another question about?
Yeah, I'm going to stay.
Is this a multi-part?
I definitely want to stay in SeaWorld because, Brian's got some more questions here, but you guys are known for your touring plans. So do you guys do that kind of work in SeaWorld and also Universal and the other parks?
So Universal, we do collect wait time data and have our Lines app, just like we do with Walt Disney World. We process all that data and we create automated touring plans. SeaWorld, there really isn't the demand for that. We do have a handcrafted touring plan that is in the book for SeaWorld.
Yep.
But there really isn't the demand for the database for the automated touring plans like we have for the other parks. And to be honest, it's 99 days out of 100 at SeaWorld. It's not necessary.
Okay, so you could do the whole thing in one day pretty good.
It depends on what you think of as everything. SeaWorld's got a wide range of. It's got the big thrilling roller coasters, and then it's got the kiddie shows and Shamu's Harbor. So the same person is unlikely to want to do both of those things. If your goal is doing all the thrill rides, that's easily done in a day. If your goal is to focus on the shows, you get there early enough and you plan it carefully, you can get in all the shows in a day. What I kind of like about SeaWorld is, in the same way I like Epcot, it's a park that you could go to and wander around and not necessarily get on any rides and still have a good time.
Nice. Right. Well, with that, what's the must-see attractions or exhibits at SeaWorld for you?
Well, I hate to admit it, I have not been on Mako yet, which is their new shark-themed roller coaster. I'm looking forward to that. I've not done that yet.
Okay.
I just love Manta. Manta is a flying coaster where you're lying down on your stomach, and it has this loop where it creates G-forces as you go up and over that's completely different than any other coaster I've been on. Okay. I can do that over and over again. Like I said, Pets Ahoy, and I'm looking forward to later this year the Kraken roller coaster. They're adding VR to it,
Oh.
I got to try out a virtual reality roller coaster at Fun Spot. They've installed that on one of the roller coasters there. And I've had mixed results with other kinds of VR. I've tried pretty much every system out there. But the VR coaster that I tried at Fun Spot was really fantastic. And if they can do anything that good over on Kraken, that'll totally reinvigorate that coaster.
So it's obviously it's a real coaster, but they'll put a mask on you like a virtual.
Exactly. Yeah. You wear a virtual reality headset, so you have a 3D computer generated images that you can look around. And the great thing about it is you don't see the track. With a roller coaster, you know where the track is, you know where you're going.
Yeah.
This can create a completely different environment and a storyline and characters around you that, without knowing where you're going.
Wow.
Well, now I need to go to SeaWorld.
You haven't been to SeaWorld yet then, Jen?
1986.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's been a while.
Longer than me.
Been a little while.
Longer?
Well, unfortunately, they do not have the Clydesdales or the free beer anymore.
Well, in 1986, I didn't care about that kind of stuff.
No.
Yeah. Let's see. My next, I think that's really it with SeaWorld. How about, this was an interesting question. One of the friends on Facebook, Angie, she asked about flea markets or any kind of like bargain hunting.
Yeah, shoppers.
That's around the Orlando area.
Flea markets. We do have, there's a Flea World. I personally am not going to vouch for that because it's pretty much exactly what it sounds. Depending on what kind of bargain hunting you're talking about, there are a couple of major outlet malls in town. There's two on iDrive, one on the south side, Orlando Premium Outlets, on the north end of iDrive. You can find some good bargains there. There's a place called the Character Warehouse, which is Disney souvenirs that didn't get sold in the parks. This is where they go to die. On touringplans.com, Derek Bergen does a regular column where he goes out to those outlet shops and shows you what kind of discounted theme park souvenirs you can find.
Seth, that's where Jennifer goes to shop. You just
I do.
You got to admit, there's some funky stuff in there.
Except, no, I loved it. But we were there during Hurricane Matthew. And I guess the hurricane just the supply was not very good. So I was slightly disappointed, but I also know that it's a hit or miss.
Yeah. And if you're a hardcore, theme park memorabilia shopper, you got to check out Theme Park Connection, which is an Orange Blossom Trail just north of the Florida Mall. And they are a warehouse of all sorts of Disney memorabilia, all the theme parks. I mean, you can get anything from, I got a signed John Hench print there. You can get a cast member uniform from the Haunted Mansion. They've sold props and attraction cars and pieces of actual rides. So again, not necessarily a bargain, but some really unique stuff there. And Orlando has a great antiques district in Ivanhoe that's up near Lock Haven Park. Probably the best bargain hunting flea market style thing in maybe the country is called Renegers. And that's out in Mount Dora. That's a bit of a drive. That's probably a little over an hour from Disney area. It's a massive, massive flea market and antique fair. And a few times a year they have people come from all over the country, all over the world to sell stuff. So, yeah, look up Renegers.
Excellent. All right. Before do anything, Seth, we got to talk about Universal and Islands of Adventure. I think we got quite...
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get into that deep. We've been kind of dancing around it.
And let me just put in a totally shameless plug.
Yeah, please do.
We cover Universal Orlando in the Beyond Disney book, but it's kind of a condensed, it's sort of the bare bones. If you're interested in Universal Orlando, I highly recommend the Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando. We just put out a 2017 edition. It's our most recently updated book, and that goes really in depth into Universal.
Well, let's talk about that because so there's two parks in case anyone doesn't know, right? And how are they set up, Seth?
It's a lot like Disneyland. If you're familiar with Disneyland out in California, you've got two full theme parks that are basically side by side. You've got a parking garage that takes you to an entertainment district called City Walk, which sort of sits as a crescent between the two theme parks. So basically you can walk from your car through all the nightclubs right into either park, walk from one park to another, and then all of the hotels that are on property are arrayed along a waterway that connects the parks. So you can walk from the park or take a bus or a water taxi anywhere in the property.
So let's maybe cover the obvious one, which is Harry Potter. Everyone's talking about that for sure.
Sure.
And I don't know a lot about it. I know you do, Jen, right? You've been there. And so
Yep.
there are portions of this in both parks, Seth?
Yeah, so the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is split into two areas because in the books and the movies, they're geographically separate areas.
Yep.
At Universal Studios Florida, you've got Diagon Alley, which is concealed behind a facade of London. And Diagon Alley includes the Gringotts roller coaster, which is a 3D roller coaster, and a lot of shops. And then a train, which is the Hogwarts Express, connects that over to Islands of Adventure, the other park. And there you've got Hogsmeade, which is the village where Hogwarts Castle is. And you have the Forbidden Journey thrill ride inside, along with a couple roller coasters outside the castle.
Is that up kind of in the back of the park, opposite from City Walk then? That was never connected before?
Yeah, both of those sections are in the kind of furthest back corner of their respective park from the entrance.
Yep.
And so, whereas previously, if you, before Hogwarts Express existed, you would have had to walk out to the front of the park and then walk out to the other to go from one park to the other. Now you can take the train to take you from the back corner of one park to the back of the other.
Yeah, so does that make it all a little more accessible to get around?
It does. The rule of thumb I use is if the wait time for the Hogwarts Express train ride is 20 minutes or less, go ahead and take the train. It'll be shorter. If it's more than 20 minutes, you can probably walk there quicker.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can't. As a Harry Potter fan, you have to do it. Like I think
you have to do it once in each direction, because
right,
you
correct.
see different characters going either way.
Exactly.
But the way they get you is, in order to ride that, you have to have a 2-park pass. Even if you have 2, 1-day passes, 1 day for each park, they're not going to let you ride that train in between unless you have the park hopper.
Exactly. Yeah.
In my experience back in the day when I went, Seth, you had to have, I always thought you needed a good 3 days to really get and do Universal and Islands of Adventure. Is that kind of what you guys recommend? Or
I mean, that's what I tell people, especially now that Harry Potter is open. I'd say it takes two full days to see the highlights of the 2 parks, and then a third day you can go really in depth with the Harry Potter stuff, or you can sort of do a greatest hits.
Right.
I just recently took some family to the parks, and we had 2 days, and there were 2 full days, and they had a really good time, but there was stuff at the end of it that we either didn't quite get to or wanted to go back and do a second time.
Right.
So I think 3 days is what it takes to be comfortable. And now that they've got a water park opening, they're really pushing for that 4th day.
Oh, what's the water? I didn't know even they had a new water park they're doing.
Yeah, so Volcano Bay opens. I just got my grand opening invitation for May 25th. It opens to the public on June 1st, I believe. Wow. And so Universal used to own Wet n Wild, which was really the very first modern water park ever. Wet n Wild closed down on New Year's Eve and is basically being dismantled. And someday that land will be used for something else, probably hotels for starts. Yep. But Volcano Bay it's about 30 acres, so that's a pretty good size for a water park. It's located on Universal property right next to the Cabana Bay Hotel. In fact, they're building additional tower rooms at the hotel that are going to look out over the park. You've got the centerpiece is a 200-foot tall sculpted volcano that will have water spewing at it by day, and at night they're going to use lights to turn it into lava.
Wow.
It's got 18 slides and attractions, which is more than any other water park in Orlando. And it's got some really innovative slides. It has a water coaster slide that's going to have indoor scenes with lighting and special effects. 2 different kinds of lazy rivers, one that is going to go fast. The neat thing about it is that everyone who goes is going to get a wristband that syncs up to the queueless entry system. So there's going to be no waiting in lines. You're just going to tap your band on whatever attraction you want to go to and get a return time for everything.
Wow. I wonder why they did another water park, but it sounds quite innovative, and I loved those when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think they're touting it as a water theme park.
Yeah.
They're not,
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
they're not. They're saying it's their 3rd theme park,
Okay.
Right.
which Universal kind of has a habit of phrasing things for marketing purposes in a way that maybe not quite. Like when they first called the original Wizarding World a theme park within a theme park. It sometimes create a little confusion. But I will say, I've talked to some of the people working on the project. I've seen the concept art. There's a level of theming and detail on this volcano bay that it seems like it's going to outdo even Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach have some very nice theming, but it really looks like this is taking it to the next level.
Yeah, when we stayed at Cabana Bay in October, we could see a lot of the construction going on, and it was at the tower. We were at a high level, and it looked pretty awesome. And I think that just to me sells Cabana Bay even more.
For a value-priced hotel that costs about the same as the All-Stars over at Disney, the views that you get from there, the service that you get there is just really kind of amazing.
The food court's delicious.
They took away my favorite though. They used to have Swedish meatballs.
Oh.
They used to have a bunch of mod. They had tuna casseroles and Swedish meatballs, and I guess the mod food did not go over well with today's guests.
Not efficient.
Hey, I want to before we let you go, Seth, I got to ask you just last couple questions with those 2 big resorts, and tell us the must-do attractions for both of Islands Adventure, and besides, of course, Harry Potter's
Harry Potter goes without saying.
Yeah.
Islands Adventure, though, Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man opened with the park back in '99. It was the first ever 3D dark ride, and in my opinion, it's still probably the best ride there is.
I agree with you.
Transformers over at Universal Studios is very similar, but it doesn't quite have the heart and the humor and the characters. For me, Spider-Man is still the best.
That's an amazing ride for its day, and it still is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and they updated a few years ago with new 4K 3D imagery.
Oh wow!
Kind of made it a little more modern, but it's still right at the very top of all rides I've been on anywhere in the world.
Yep.
And the new Skull Kingdom Reign of Kong Skull Island ride is a lot of fun. It's another 3D ride. It's got some great visuals. It's pretty darn scary. There's even live actors in the queue that jump out at you like it's a haunted house.
Okay.
And then over at Universal Studios Florida, I have a soft spot for Men in Black, which is still my favorite shooting attraction. I like it more than Toy Story Mania or Buzz Lightyear because it's got, real animatronic characters and dimensional sets, and I can ride that over and over trying to improve my score. And then my pick for the best underground attraction in Orlando, the thing, no one talks about but everyone loves, is the horror makeup show at Universal Studios Florida. It is the funniest show in town because the actors are given so much freedom to improvise, and they genuinely seem to be having a good time, which means the audience always has a good time.
I was surprised to see that's still there. That's awesome. It's been there quite a long time.
It's one of the original attractions. It's gone through a lot of changes over the years, but there's a lot of it that's still exactly the same as it was on opening day, and it's because the actors bring so much to it every day that they're able to keep it running after all these years.
Well, I love animals. So there used to be Animal Planet Live. There's an animal show there too, right?
It's pretty much the same show. They lost the Animal Planet branding, but it's still called Animal Actors. It's the folks from Birds and Animals Unlimited who do animal training for pretty much all the big Hollywood movies. And it's a really cute show.
Yeah. Any other shows that really stand out for you?
The shows in the Harry Potter area are really fantastic because they're, again, kind of under the radar. They don't make they don't have an official show schedule in the park map. They're kind of like little impromptu street things that happen. But especially the Celestina Warbeck show. It's a little musical written by the same guys who wrote Twice Charmed, the Cinderella musical on the Disney cruise line. It's a really, really great little 15 minutes song and dance show.
What's
really that one.
The show? Is it the Poseidon? I'm trying to remember. There's a real... Was it the Poseidon or something? There was a big...
Well, there's... Over
called?
in Islands of Adventure, there's Poseidon's Fury,
yeah,
which is kind of a walk-through special effects demonstration. It's a little bit like Phantasmic, where you've got water screens with projections and things exploding. And to be perfectly honest, it makes almost no sense. I recommend Poseidon, and right next door to it is the Sinbad Stunt Show.
Yes.
I recommend both of those to people who do not speak English, because as long as you can just admire the explosions and the pretty special effects and ignore the dialogue, you enjoy those a lot better.
What is it, cheesy, or just doesn't make any sense?
It's just kind of incoherent and pretty cheesy.
Awesome.
When your bad guy is named Lord Darkanon, you know that they weren't stretching too hard.
They didn't give it a whole lot of thought, huh? Oh, awesome. Jen, do you have any final questions for Seth? This has been, man, what an amazing amount of stuff to do.
Well, I could go on all night, so I would love if you want to have me back on sometime. We can talk more Universal. We can talk Disney. We can talk Las Vegas if you're feeling crazy.
Definitely. We're loving this connection with the Unofficial guide, Seth, and it's been a lot of fun. And sooner or later, I'm going to stretch my legs back. It's been a cost thing for me. I'm a DVC owner, so I've been taking advantage of that and bringing lots of people over to Disney World.
Take your DVC points, use them, for a room there at Disney. But an Uber over to Universal is very reasonably priced. Takes 15-20 minutes if they take you up the back way along
that's a great
Palm Parkway.
Tell me, what is an Uber? What does an Uber cost? What's the
an Uber costs about half of what a Mears taxi will cost.
All right.
I have both Uber and Lyft. I personally use Uber more, but we've had a lot of great success from readers who have used Uber from on-site Disney hotels over to Universal. Mears offers a shuttle service. If you've got a couple people, an Uber is definitely more cost-effective.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is you can use it whenever you want.
Right.
The shuttle services for Mears, they sometimes do not get you there by rope drop, which can be a problem.
Wow. Jen, you have any other questions?
No, I don't want to keep them any longer. I mean, I could. Yeah.
I know. We could go for hours, so I will definitely keep this connection together, Seth, and we'll have you on again.
Absolutely.
And hey, before you go, tell us where we can find you online.
Oh, sure. Well, you can find theunofficialguides.com, and also the books are all available on Amazon.com. You can find my column every week for the Orlando Weekly at orlandoweekly.com. And I also post on touringplans.com and attractionsmagazine.com. So I'm pretty much all over. And if you want to contact me directly, you can find me at SethKubersky.com.
Excellent. You are everywhere, Seth, and really appreciate having you on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been great.
All right. That was awesome. I love having the co-authors from the Unofficial Guide on the show. We still have one more to do, which is going to be all about Disney cruises. And I know Jen wants to join me for that one too. Looking forward to that. And I'm scheduling that coming up soon. I can't wait to try all these attractions in Florida someday. I've been taking large groups to Disney World with my DVC, and now Ben's baseball tournaments, and Lindsay's down there for Disney internships. I have all I can handle financially to do just Disney World, but one of these days we'll venture out and get to learn more of the fun to experience when you're down there in Florida, and I can't wait to do that. Well, the best part of our podcast is you, our Disney geeks. And I want to thank you all for listening, for the amazing love and feedback you give back to us every day. Now, one of the ways you can give back to our Geekin community is to call into our Geek Speak voicemail. Now, let's listen to a call that came in this week from Jamie McGee.
Hey, geeks. It's Bert and Jamie McGee, and we are calling in. We are in Magic Kingdom today. We just had a Be Our Guest breakfast, and then we rode Mine Train 3 times in a row, walked on over to Big Thunder Mountain and rode that twice, and now we're just walking over to Adventureland to walk around in sunshine. Yesterday we were over at Hollywood Studios in the evening around 7 o'clock to see the Star Wars Galactic Spectacular, and I have a quick tip for everybody. We think the best location to watch the show is in between the 2 projection towers that they have there on the left and right side, right in front of the Chinese Theater. The surround sound standing right there is probably the best we've heard watching that show. So if you're looking to have a great spot to watch the Star Wars fireworks at Hollywood Studios, we think that's the best spot. All right, geeks, we're off to Adventureland, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Have a magical day. Bye.
Thank you so much, Jamie, for calling into Geek Speak. That was a great tip. And a great reason to call into the Geek Speak is to give a tip or ask a question or give a little trip report. So that was awesome, Jamie. Thank you so much. And that was a really intimate kind of tip, where an insider's tip, something that you might not see or hear reading blogs or even listening to podcasts. So that was awesome, Jamie. Thank you so much. I absolutely love our highly engaged Facebook group, guys. Auntie Judy, her husband Ken, Mom, and I, we went out to see Creedence Clearwater Revival show. It was a tribute band over at the Infinity Hall in Norfolk on Friday night. Auntie Judy lives close to there, and I'm so glad she invites us to come up and watch live music. But it's kind of funny, and leave it to Judy to get hit in the head with a drumstick at the end of the show. That was kind of interesting. But anyways, we're constantly talking about our upcoming trips, meetups that we got coming up, T-shirt sales, and all the discussions going on in the Facebook group. And like I was saying, Mama and Judy are planning our trip coming up, but we're always talking about you guys. We do consider you part of our Geekin family, and there's so much sharing and questions being asked out there on the Facebook group. It makes it fun every single day. And for example, I love Laura Eaton's question about the Art of Animation Resort. She's thinking about booking with her 5-year-old boy coming up. I think in October she's talking about it. And she wanted to get some feedback on the Art of Animation. I personally think it's a great resort. I stayed there a couple nights after we were bumped on our canceled flight that was back in March, and we stayed there, and I actually walked around. I told her about the live trip reporting I did walking around that resort, and you geeks told her all about the great food options there. I think it's great for especially small families, and they got a little bit of a budget maybe, but the kids are absolutely going to love it with those big characters, and the pools are awesome. It is a big resort, but and they give you lots of tips about the buses and like that. So, Laura, I hope you got great information about the Art of Animation, and you go there and enjoy it. Also, Angie Smith Goodwin admitted that she has a fear of heights and was wondering how she could overcome that fear so she could enjoy all the rides with her children. And I want to put out a big thank you, especially to Peter Burcase, who gave a fantastic and well thought out response. And I think basically he was saying that you need to face that fear and give it a try. He also talked about laughing and screaming. And I said, hey, Angie, if you had listened to my live trip report when I was on the Tower of Terror recently, you heard me screaming. But definitely, if you face those fears, the more you do something you fear, the easier it becomes. Like doing a podcast or talking in front of people in public. Definitely, the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel. And another tip that was put out there, the Disney rides, some of the thrill rides, you definitely feel safe, like they're being taken care of. You're well protected. Don't fear. Give it a shot. I know you'll enjoy it, Angie. Especially do Splash Mountain now, and I want you to do Tower of Terror. I remember the first time Mama did Tower of Terror. Now, she's afraid of those rides also. And she came out looking like she'd seen a hitchhiking ghost, and she had tears coming down her face, but now she absolutely loves it. So please go out there and do that. You'll definitely have a sense of conquering your fears, which is even better than the ride itself. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting our show. You're retweeting our Twitter posts. You're sharing our Facebook postings. I love it when you go out to iTunes, you give us a 5-star, fun, fantastic review. That really gets our show out there. I'm so happy to see us showing up in the top 200 travel podcasts. It's been out there. That was one of my goals this year. It's hitting there all the time, and I need you guys to do that and support us. I love seeing that. It really encourages me. Tell your friends about our show and about our Facebook group. Get them in there, get them involved, and it's so much fun. If you've got an idea for the show and you want to email me, it's kurt.stone@geekinonwdw.com. You can direct message me at geekinonwdw on Twitter. You heard about the Geek Speak. The number to call in for that is 860-294-4774. Hey, if you're planning a Walt Disney World vacation, why not talk to our good friends and super geeks Susan, Jennifer, or EJ at Fairy Tale Concierge? They're going to help you plan the best Disney World vacation you possibly can have. They're going to stick with you all the way through it and have lots of fun with you. Hey, thanks for going geeking on Walt Disney World with us. We really appreciate you listening and geeking with us every day. Have a magical day, and I hope all your dreams come true.